right, Molo Sanbonani, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Vuka Nazo here on the Big Daddy Liberty Show. Excuse the different environment that I'm in, but with that being said, a reminder to you that if you love the content, well, then do me a favor, hit that like button. Of course, whether you're watching the simulcast on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitter, and if it is on YouTube in particular, well, then consider subscribing to the channel. That's right, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so that you're notified whenever we're on the show. A reminder also that we have a website. Find us, please, at bigdaddyliberty.com. There, of course, you can also pledge some support to the channel. Now, enough with the jibber jabber. How about we get straight into the news? Okay, so it is an appalling situation. Absolutely shocking situation where a government, in this case the city of Johannesburg, which itself you'll know has a law enforcement capacity, that is the Metro Police of Johannesburg, is effectively saying, yes, that same government is saying it cannot protect citizens of this country. It cannot protect, in this case, the drivers of e-hailing vehicles, whether it's an Uber or a taxi. Or rather a Bolt, the various means by which a lot of South Africans are choosing to travel because it's safe and convenient. You whip out your phone, you dial in where you're going, it shows you where the nearest vehicle is and calls it, hails it to you. That is a preferred method for a lot of people. And that is a form of transport which, of course, is in competition with other forms of transport. Now, this has been perhaps where the bone of contention has been, where, as you'll remember, we covered this in, I believe, episode 179 of the show, where these e-hailing vehicles, these Ubers and Bolts and Taxifys were being basically set alight and destroyed by the allegedly taxi associations, taxi operators, that's minibus taxi operators, who are not happy at the fact that these vehicles are here competing. Now, well, after all of that violence, and I showed you scenes of that, as I said in the previous episode of Vuka Nazo, after all of that, a meeting was held between the three role players, that is the e-hailing community, that's the Uber drivers, effectively, and the taxi association in Soweto, where these acts and scenes of violence were happening. That meeting, of course, the outcome of which, as I said, is an appalling one. It's effectively one where the state hasn't played its role of protecting not only the public, but in this case, the actual people who are being attacked. In this instance, the people who are being attacked, Uber drivers, are now being the ones who are being punished with a 3-month ban for Uber and Bolt inside of Soweto malls. That, of course, is the outcome of this particular meeting. Let me just get this on screen so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. There it is on screen. A 3-month ban, as I mentioned, for Uber, Bolt inside Soweto malls. There are the hapless and useless city of Johannesburg politicians that won the mayoral committee, Ukenyi Kunene for roads and transport, and Mgcini Chwako, who is, of course, the MMC for public safety, fat load of public safety he's providing in this particular incident. As I said, the meeting held with them yesterday, basically coming out and saying that these vehicles, according to the short-term agreement with minibus taxi operators, sees e-hailing taxi drivers being disallowed or not allowed to drop off or pick up passengers inside shopping malls in Soweto for the next 3 months. A 3-month ban here, folks. And of course, comment from the e-hailing community is understandably disappointed. On Wednesday, the South African E-Hailing Association met, as I said, with Soweto Taxi Services, the STS, and the city of Johannesburg. The E-Hailing Association said the 3-month agreement was better than nothing. You can almost hear the disappointment in their voices. The association's national spokesperson, Ewan Vatuka Mbelengwa, who you guys have seen on the show, said the solution, though temporary, could be worked around. He's directly quoted as saying whether the solution is the best now is uncertain, but it's a solution nonetheless. At the end of the day, we must try something to ensure the safety of the community and us. The agreement would be in place until the solution is found. On the other side of the equation, of course, the individuals who are alleged to be the ones behind the violence. And again, I must say this is an allegation. Nothing is proven yet. And indeed, the police are probing those scenes of violence that we saw at the Maponya Mall on Monday. Nonetheless, STS chairperson Umigeleni Madlala also welcomed. Now, he welcomed the agreement. I don't know why this article is saying this also, but he effectively welcomes the agreement. Of course he would. This is an agreement and not a final one. We are doing this for the safety of everyone, to ensure everyone is protected. We've agreed they will not enter the malls and will not stop at the gates, and will only stop, at the gates of the malls. A permanent solution will be discussed at a later stage. That's, of course, according to Migeleni Madlala of the Soweto Taxi Service, effectively an association in that part of the world, end of quote. Now, I'm going to come to the comment made by the city of Johannesburg on this, but I must reiterate this. This is absolutely appalling. There's nothing about this agreement which is good or should be welcomed. The only people welcoming this agreement are the Tax Association, and it begs the question, why? Why would they be happy with an association that sees their rivals prevented from entering certain spaces and competing against them? Questions have to be asked in this regard of multiple players in this particular industry, because you've got to understand something. You cannot appease a monster. You cannot appease the mob. And again, I must say this, of course, it's an allegation as to the fact that it's taxi operators who are behind this. That is the allegation. But if this is proven true, then banning their competition in favor of them, in other words, government choosing to pick winners and losers as opposed to enforcing the law for everybody, is a bad precedent to set. Today it's Maponya Mall, tomorrow it's Protea Glen or Cresta or any other of the malls in Gauteng or even in the country. And why? Because this government has shown that it would rather do nothing and appease the mob than actually enforce the rule of law. South Africa is a market economy where all sectors must compete for the patronage of their customers. This decision not only greatly disadvantages the Uber drivers, but it also disadvantages you, the ordinary commuter who wants to use and wants to have the freedom to choose what service you do. There are constitutional issues with this decision being taken by the city of Johannesburg, but at the heart of it is a cowardice by these politicians to enforce the law, and that should be unacceptable to everybody. All right, folks, that's it for this episode of Vuka Nazo. Let me know what you think of these views. Maybe you're someone who lives in Soweto and is affected by this particular decision. Your comment is definitely welcome. And maybe you're someone who's maybe experienced violence like this and has expected the state to play its role, but they simply haven't. I'm welcoming your views too. Make sure you send those views, of course, by leaving a like, of course, on any of my mediums, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, and drop a comment. Of course, I'll always do make a meal of reading those. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, don't forget, we have a website at BigDaddyLiberty.com. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Vuka Nazo.